The Sonos Play is super loud. At just 40% volume from a single Sonos Play, I could cover a 500 square feet living room. But of course, just because it's loud doesn't mean it sounds good, right? Well, we're going to talk more about its sound quality, listen to some sound samples, as well as talk about what can be better about the Sonos Play. So stick around for that. Links in the pinned comment. If you want to check its latest price on Amazon, click here for Shopee and subscribe for more reviews like this one. The Sonos Play comes with a charging cradle, very convenient. Its battery contains up to 24 hours of juice, and it can also function as a power bank, which is one more reason to take it outside, really. The battery is officially replaceable. Yes, you can buy the battery replacement kits from Sonos' website or from the stores, and they aren't very expensive, just $69 US. What I also like about the Sonos Play, and by the way, this applies to all Sonos portable speakers, is automatic TruePlay tuning. Now, depending on where you place the speaker, usually it's gonna sound different because of the way sound bounces off the solid surfaces around it. So if you place it in the corner of the room or on the shelf, it's gonna sound more boomy, more bassy. But if it's in the middle of the room, or even more so outdoors, it's gonna sound a lot thinner, as in the bass is not really there. In other words, inconsistent quality depending on where you place the speaker, right? Automatic TruePlay fixes that with microphones that listens to the environment and tells the speaker whether to tone down the bass or boost the bass in real time. I don't recall any other brand of speakers that does this. In fact, this is how it works. Auto TruePlay on. Auto TruePlay on. Okay, I'm now on the balcony where there's barely any reflective surface around except for the wall and for this corner over here. Yep, this is my balcony. Okay, so auto TruePlay tuning. Auto TruePlay tuning off. Auto TruePlay tuning off. Of course, if you prefer the tuning to be fixed, you can turn off the microphones. It's easy, just flick the switch at the back, or you can turn off auto TruePlay tuning in the Sonos app. And you can still boost the bass and treble yourself in the Sonos app to add some flavor. By default though, I think it sounds pretty good. It's a rather smooth sound with great bass to mid separation, so it's a pretty clean signature with nice mid-range emphasis and detail retrieval. As for bass performance, well, it did nail the upper and mid bass frequencies. Not so much the sub bass, because I didn't feel much impact from bass drops, but if you're talking about the fullness of vocals, the richness and gravity of bass guitars, you will be able to get that from the Sonos Play. So I gotta say that bass hits might feel pretty mixed about the Sonos Play overall. Yes, you can bring up the bass in the Sonos app, but it only touches the mid and upper bass frequencies, not so much the sub bass. As for how they sound at higher and lower volume levels, when it's above 80% volume, the Sonos Play will start to distort in the upper mids and vocals, and bass will sound thin and anemic. I will say though that mostly you won't need to go beyond 80% volume. Like I said in the beginning, it's plenty loud already at below 50% volume. At lower volume levels, even below 20% volume, it still maintains its balance and dynamic range very well, which is great for ambient music in the background.
I'll be on the weekend where we hanging out. I love her own club, boy, I make a vow that you're my number one priority. Just keep giving me all your love. Don't stop giving me all your love. I'm sitting in the palm of your hand. Your wish is my command. Just keep giving me all your love. Yes, it took a real man to bring it out of me. Gave me good love, baby, and now I see what a big dog needs. I think it's funny how one of you is submissive now.
Sonos also says that it's a stereo speaker, and while I do get some stereo imaging about 10 cm to the left and right of the speaker playing Money by Pink Floyd, it's not a very spacious representation of stereo. For anything better, you'll have to get two of these speakers and combine them in a stereo pair. It does sound a little different over AirPlay in that its track separation and bass sounds a little cleaner, but I couldn't tell if there was an improvement to its sound staging at all.
Right, big boss, where you make me feel so at ease. Independent, but I follow your lead. Ain't no games we play for keeps. You got the ring, so tell me, Papa, what do you need? Free in the morning when you get dressed. Zeus in the evening if you're feeling stressed. Tough by your decisions, I trust, cause you only want the best for us, baby. I'll be free on the weekend when we hanging out. I love her on call, boy, I make a vow that you're my number one priority. Just keep giving me.
Overall, I think this speaker sounds great, right? But there are a few things which I don't really like that much about it. First, the lack of a built-in line-in port. So if you want to hardwire the Sonos Play to anything, maybe a turntable, you'll need this adapter from Sonos. It's not very expensive, but it is a minor inconvenience because if it so happens that you did not buy the line-in adapter from Sonos, you cannot use this USB Type-C port as an audio input. I've tried it. The piece, like my PC, doesn't even recognize this audio input. And second, since the buttons are not backlit and they're very small and flat, it can be a little difficult finding the buttons at first unless you hold it against the light. Just some minor complaints. Now, I will continue to use this speaker, so if you've got any questions about the Sonos Play, let me know in the comments. Link in the pinned comment. If you want to check its latest price on Amazon, click here for Shopee. And for more reviews like this one, get subscribed and tap the bell button to stay notified. Also, I have reviewed the Sonos Ace headphones and the Sonos Arc Ultra soundbar. Click here to watch them.